America is Rome in the reincarnation. Just want to give all praises, glory, and honor due unto Yahweh Bashem Yashai, Bahashem Rakah HaKodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well, that they teach well, have taught me this truth. May Yahweh Bashem Yashai be with you in the spirit. Same goes on down to the rank and file, the Akim, and the few Akwat that are out there listening. May the angels encampeth around you, especially in these times, especially now more so than ever. We're going to need it in these trying and tribulate times that are to come. Kwam Yasha'Allah and Abad Babal. So America is Rome in the reincarnation. And I was just Googling the similarities between Rome and the United States. And then I actually ended up stumbling upon this article here. It's from ChicagoTribune.com, and it says, commentary: the average age of new U.S. senators is late 50s. We need younger candidates. You know, you can make a lesson just off the title. A lot of scriptures come to mind. Daniel, the 7th chapter, which I'm going to bring up, Revelation 13, and other little precepts. But this proves that America is Rome, because the Senate back then, I believe it consisted of 100 to 300 members, I believe. But they were all old men, and they prided themselves on having old men because they wanted wisdom and experience to guide the nation or the country, right? Really to influence the country, government, and the people. But I find it funny when it says we need younger candidates, because people in this society, they don't understand spirituality, and they don't understand reincarnation. A lot of these people that you see talking about the average person, they don't understand that they're coming back in their lot, and they're just playing their position. So they believe in their mind that, oh, we could do whatever we want. We're free to do whatever. We have free will. That's not the case. Actually, let me get a precept. That's not the one. Let's get the precept here. Proverbs 20 and 4. I think it's 24. Yeah, here it is, 20 and 24. It says, man's goings are of Yahweh. How can a man then understand his own way? So how can you? Because that's what it sounds like here. They're trying to understand, why aren't there younger candidates? And I believe you have to be around the age of 30 to be considered to be a senator. You have to be at least 30 years old, right? But they're only picking people in their late 50s, which late 50s is close to your 60s, right? Your early 60s, right? And that's how it was in ancient Rome. So the Lord, he's bringing back that same vibe. That's how the Lord wants it. This is of the Lord's will. And if you're familiar with what happened in history on how the Lord, he took down the Roman Empire, the Roman Empire went down, man. Just like how the American Empire is about to go down. And we're in the dying stages of the American Empire, and we're witnessing it. So let's get this. It says here, actually I want this, the origins. And this is going into the Roman Senate. This is from worldhistory.org. Origins. The Romans used the name senatus for their most important seat of government, which derives from senex, meaning old, and meant assembly of old men, with a connotation of wisdom and experience. And that's what you want. You want a council of elders to make the decisions. You don't want young men to make the decisions, because young men, they don't fully understand yet on how to control their emotions. And you need experience to learn to control your emotions. And with experience comes wisdom, right? Just like how In this truth, we have the elders and apostles. All right, they counsel us. And they're usually up in age, which that's a good thing. Okay, Sakari, that's a good thing. Even in Esau's wicked kingdom, he understands that. He understands that. How come you don't understand that? All right, so let's get Ecclesiasticus, Sirach. All right, and this is chapter 6, verse 34. And it says, stand in the multitude of the elders and cleave unto him that is wise, right? You want to be around a multitude of elders because they're going to make the right decision. Remember, elders, man, they understand order. They understand rank and file. They're content. They're more content. All right, so that's what you want. It's good to be around the man with the hoary head, because with that hoary head, it comes wisdom. And that's what the Senate prides itself in. So it says, old and meant assembly of old men with a connotation of wisdom and experience. Members were sometimes referred to as fathers or patres. And so this combination of ideas illustrates that the Senate was a body designed to provide reasoned and balanced guidance to the Roman state and its people. According to the tradition, Rome's founder Romulus created the first 100-member Senate as an advisory body to the sovereign, but very little is known about its actual role in Rome's early history as a monarchy. In the early republic, it is likely the body began as an advisory board to magistrates and then grew in power as retired magistrates joined it as an indication by the lex, which set out that members should be recruited from the best men, which means the elite. That's talking about the elite. Okay, so let's get the word senator. We already read it, but I just want to prove the point. Senator, member of an ancient senate. From Latin senator, member of the senate. From senex, old, which means old man. So that's what they're dealing with. Old men. And that's what you're seeing right here. The average age of the U.S. senator is late 50s. That's pretty old. That's up in age. We need younger candidates. No, you don't. Because that's not how the spirit of Rome was. You don't need that. All right, so let's get some scriptures now, because I want to kind of go into that. So this is Daniel chapter 7, verse 7. After this, I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. And this fourth beast is talking about the Roman Empire. And it was terrible and strong, and it had great iron teeth, which that iron teeth represents its military strength. The reason why it was so great is because they took on all the best characteristics and qualities of the other beast armies. Right? So they incorporated a lot of advanced and newer ways to fight in battle. Right? So they had iron shields, iron helmets, iron swords, short swords, long swords. Right? It was very versatile when it came to its military, and that's why it was able to crush other kingdoms and make them submit and pay tribute. Right? So they were very strong when it came to their military, just like how America is very strong in their military today. They have a high-tech military, a lot of drones, a lot of bombs, nukes. They have special forces. So it's the exact same thing. It's really Rome in the reincarnation. And it devoured and brake in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse. And that diverse is talking about their Senate and their president, which really is a Caesar. And their Senate was able to use bread and circus to really distract the people into passing laws and legislations. That's why it was so diverse, man. It's really going into their Senate and their Caesars, just like America today. And America has a Senate, and they also have a president, which a president, he is a head of state. And then you have the Senate, which makes decisions and passes laws, things of that nature. And it wasn't. What makes this different from all the other beasts is that the other beasts, they dealt with succession. So you had a king or a prince. You had a king, and then a king had a prince. When that king died, his son, which was a prince, would take over and become the king. Right. So it was a hierarchy. This is not dealing with a hierarchy. This is dealing with a body or a council of experienced elite men. From all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. Yeah, and that 10 horns represents the European nations that they ruled in that ancient time. And those nations, they were tributaries, and they paid tribute to Rome. And today that would represent the EU or /NATO, right? /NATO or the EU, the 10 horns. And America, they lead the EU and NATO. They lead them. They tell them what to do. They have the final say when it comes to the decision making. So the same thing applies here today. All right, so let's get Revelation chapter 13 and 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Right? So this beast is going into, America, right? And also, well, really America, but you can also compare it to Rome, because when you go into the 2 horns like a lamb, those 2 horns, they represent 2 political parties, which is the plebeians and the patricians, a 2-party system. Just like how America has a 2-party system, you have Democrats and the Republicans. Now, the plebeians, they would represent the Democrats. Now, plebeian, it means of or characteristic of the lower class or the common people, and that's what the Democratic Party they really go for. They really tend towards the lower class. Freedom of speech and all that stuff. You can do whatever you want. The patricians, they were somewhat more conservative. It's not that they weren't liberal. They were more socially liberal, but when it came to economics, they were more conservative. And that's because they came from the higher class. They were of a higher class. They were elite men. So when it comes to riches, they have a lot to conserve. And they want to conserve their assets, right? Just like the Republicans today. And they're more higher up. They're more of like a higher class, higher status. Like who they represent and the people that vote for them, they're more of like a higher status. So it says, in a Roman historical sense, from Latin plebeius, belonging to the plebs. Earlier plebs, the populace of the common people, as opposed to patricians. Commonality, the mass, the multitude, the lower class, right? That's why they always, Democrats, they always go for so-called minorities. What are minorities? They are of a lower class. Primarily you blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans, right? Just saying. Right, okay. So let's get patricians. Patrician, member of the ancient Roman noble order, reputed descendants of original citizens from old friends, patrician, of rank of the nobles, of the senators, of fatherly dignity. So you know that means rank of the nobles. They're of high class, high status. All right, so that's self-explanatory. Also, you can get more of an understanding. It says, a sense attested in English from 1610s, hence nobleman, aristocrat. Okay. All right, so those are the 2 systems, 2-party systems. And he spake as a dragon, because war was in his heart. He looks like a lamb. It looks all organized on the outside. They look like they have your best interest, but they really speak as a dragon, and that comes in the form of bread and circus. They use bread and circus to appease your basic five senses, right? Your carnal senses, to make you feel good about yourself. But while they're doing that, they're passing all these weird laws and legislations behind the scenes. Right? So that's how they speak as a dragon, and they're all about war and deception. That's what you see. And what you see in America, you see a lot of bread and circus. That's heavily pushed. Gluttony and sports, entertainment, sex, and drugs. So this is obviously Rome in the reincarnation. America is Rome. America is Rome. Now let's get some scriptures on reincarnation when it comes to that great city. So this is Revelation chapter 8, and I'm just showing you that the Lord, He deals with spirituality and reincarnation. Okay, that's what it's about. So this cuts, we need younger candidates. That's not the vibe that the Lord wants it to be in. It's not about having younger candidates. It's about you coming back and fulfilling your lot. And we have to remember, this is the will of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Never forget that. The Lord's will always reign supreme. And that's what the prophets and the men of the Lord, they're set up to give you. They're set up to tell you the Lord's will. And Lord willing, I be a part of that, being a man of the Lord. I'm telling you all these things, man. This is the will. So this is Revelation chapter 11, verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. That dead bodies represents you people that are spiritually dead, especially you tribes. The 2/3, you don't know who you are as a people. Your skin and your flesh is plucked off your bodies. You don't know your nationality. You don't know who you are. Even these other nations, a lot of them, they just call themselves, I'm an American. I'm just an American. But they don't realize they go back to a progenitor. They go back to a forefather. And it doesn't matter what your skin color is. It's who your father is. Shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. And this is talking about America. America today. So it is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. And it is because America takes on the same customs as Sodom and Egypt, especially Sodom, because it's LGBT, and you have a lot of different ancient Egyptian obelisks and monuments that are built in America, and they worship the same God. They worship the same gods as Egypt. So this proves that reincarnation and spirituality do exist, especially when it comes to nations and cities and countries. That great melting pot. All right, so that's what I wanted from here. So let me get some history. So this is 1 Maccabees chapter 8, verse 1. It says, Now Judas had heard of the Romans. And this is in the time of the Maccabees, when the Roman Empire was taking over and beating up our forefathers, man. Now Judas had heard of the Romans, that they were mighty and valiant men, and such as would lovingly accept all that joined themselves unto them, and make a league of amity with all that came unto them. And that they were men of great valor, it was told him also of their wars and noble acts which they had done among the Galatians, and how they had conquered them and brought them under tribute, and what they had done in the country of Spain for the winning of the mines of the silver and gold which is there, and that by their policy and patience they had conquered all the place, though it were very far from them, and the kings also that came against them from the uttermost part of the earth, till they had discomfited them and given them a great overthrow, so that the rest did give them tribute every year. And that's what it's about. You don't just totally destroy your nations, you put them under subjection, and you make them tributaries. That's what it's about, right? And that's what the Romans did. And they were obviously men of great valor and strength. They were conquerors. And doesn't America do that? They do it through sanctions and embargoes to make you a tributary. If you don't take on the spirit of sodomy, LGBTQ, then I'm gonna put sanctions and embargoes on you. So they'll put a heavy hand on you. So that's what they're known for doing. Don't they blow up countries? What did they do to Hiroshima and Nagasaki? They dropped the atomic bomb on them in Japan. So they were men of great valor. They had a great military and they conquered, man. They made the world fear them. So that's that same spirit. Now let's go down. I believe, where is it? I think it's 24 here. Oh yeah, 16, yeah. Okay, here we go. Verse 15. This is going into their councils, right? So like the Senate, which is what we have over here in America. They have a Congress, Senate, House of Representatives, right? So it's verse 15. Moreover, how they had made for themselves a Senate house, wherein 320 men sat in council daily, consulting all way for the people, to the end they might be well ordered, right? And that well ordered goes into experience and wisdom, right? Controlling one's emotions, making the right decisions to benefit the populace. Verse 16. And that they committed their government to one man every year, who ruled over all their country, right? And that is the Caesar, which I believe that, right? Had committed their government to one every man every year, who ruled over all their country, and that were obedient to them, to that one, and that there was neither envy nor emulation among them. And that's what makes them diverse and unique from all the other beasts, because they were able to coincide with one another, and there was no envy or strife. They had a system that did away with envy and emulation. Okay, so that's the history behind it. So that was an ancient world, and that applies to today. Anyway, that's all that I have. Hope this was edifying. Till next time, just want to give all praises, glory, and honor due unto Yahweh Bashem Yoshai, Bahashem Rakah HaKodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. With that, Shalom.